Okay, this will be a short video, a getting started starting point video for the automated strategy. That's part of the Pivot Point trading program. As my voice gets better, I'm just coming off of, I lost my voice, had really bad sore throat, congestion, all that. As my voice gets better, I'll replace this video with a more formal one, and I have a whole bunch of videos I've shot, but I need to go do voiceover narration, showing the automated strategy running in different conditions. And I have several key videos on Renko candles and sizing, and then matching indicator to the different Renkos and how you optimize. A good starting point would be the Ninja Renko on a 70-10. I like ratios anywhere from 1 to 5 to 1 to 7. I know some traders have always liked 1 to 4. I'm not into that, but you can use whatever you want. In the end, there's going to be hundreds of settings between the indicator matched up with different Renko types and settings that will work fantastic. That's the beauty of this system. It's not one-dimensional. The setup in the system is not codependent on just one set of settings, one bar type, and one instrument. That's just not the case. This has a very wide range of capability. For indicator settings that I suggest you start off with for the PPG1 indicator, okay, let's go here to PPG1 10, 15, anywhere from 0.70 to 0.75 I like. It's a little bit of a bigger picture look at the market, not hyper responsive to what price is doing. You can do that, but that needs to be on definitely proven optimized settings. And I have a very important video that will show you the right way to optimize these setups depending on what your daily objective is in your trading, whether manual or fully automated. Just so you at least have the adaptive price band setting too. Not sure why it's doing that, so let's go up here. Let's go to indicators. We'll go into PTI. We'll go into the adaptive right here. We'll go into this setting just so you can see where I have that at. MA1 12 minus 2, MA1 12 3, opacity of 30. I'm sorry, offset of 30, opacity. We'll put 65. I don't know why it was on 64. 60 to 70 is kind of where I've been playing with it, and so on. I never use price markers, and voila. And that's the diamonds that you see, and I'm going to do an update to that indicator so you can make the diamonds bigger for those of you that ask for that. So right now, since the market opened, the market's been in a very slow uptrend. Not surprising, we're getting very close to the Christmas holiday. So the participation in the market is going to keep dropping off day after day after day. As you can see here, I didn't even run automated strategy today. I'm going to wait till the market trades higher to an area where I want to be short, and then I'm going to turn on the strategy in a short only mode. Like if I see it outside the bands. So I'm going to be very selective going into the end of December on when I trade automated, because we don't have normal participation at all going on right now, unless suddenly there's some unscheduled news or a tweet or something significant on the geopolitical side that would suddenly get all the large participants, major hedge funds and investment banks, to suddenly need to participate in the market. Okay, so that's the settings. Now let's get into the actual, what I suggest is a starting point to get your feet wet, see how it all works, before you go to videos where I get into very, or I guess you could say more dialed in settings that have specific objectives. Let's go in and show you the strategy. So this is just starting point information, like to get you something set up that you can build upon and then add additional charts as I provide you with additional dialed in settings. Now this program just transitioned out of beta. So I launched it in beta form so collectively I could have some of my more heavy hitter, sharp traders that I led into the program start, collectively brainstorming and digging into different instruments, bar types and avenues to start, I guess I call it going in the cave and mining for gold, finding those nuggets of gold in the cave on different settings that they're liking. And then it collectively, that momentum starts to build and more information gets passed on over and above what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so let's go to the PTI prop trading indicators folder, the pivot point strat. And I'll just talk like a 150K account. You could start in the beginning. Well, if you're in sim mode, who cares what your position size is? If you're on a 150K account, just getting used to how everything works, maybe do 3 lot, stop around 160 to 170 ticks. We'll go 160. I like to put a target out at least 7 to 1, meaning I just want something out there. You never know when you get in and then the thing just rips and takes off. Had it happen in, let's see, in how many times? I've had my 1100 tick target hit 3 times in the month of November. That's huge. Like it automated got in trades and it ripped. So you just never know. So anyhow, I suggest no less than 5 to 1 of whatever your stop is. I like 7 to 1. I just like it way out there. I can always move it. So I'm just going to go and put like 1,000. We'll just call that good. It's kind of in the ballpark. I like to have my break-even threshold out farther than my stop. So if my stop is 160 ticks, I could go anywhere from like 200 to maybe as high as 240. So I'll go like 220, meaning when the market gets 220 ticks in the money, then it'll move my stop to break even plus, and I'm going to bump that up to 5 ticks. Trail stop, I'll have a standalone video on it. It's the easiest trail stop you could ever use. That's to turn it on. I don't want it on. This is important. I can come out of the gates, and I typically set my time window, and I do enable it, to start looking for trade activity at 8:32 U.S. Central Time. And then I'll put like to 12:30. I never trade to 12:30, but I'll just put something out there. Oops. Okay, so there's my time window. I have it set. So what signals means, it'll take the first signal of a PPG indicator dot that happens right at 8:32 in a second or later. If I put it in trade window, it'll fire off into a trade that's qualified right away at 8:32 in a second or later. We'll cover that here in a second, what that means. For now, I'll just leave it on signals. Most of you, I suggest in the beginning, try it with signals, see how that works. Try it with time window. There's a reason why I like to use time window. If I see the market way up on one edge of the range or the other, I'll tend to use the time window. Or if I see a certain type of movement leading right up to the open. And I'll do a specific video on that. But just leaving it on signals is fine as you're starting it out. The predominance of time, that is just fine. Now this is huge. I have to match up my PPG1 indicator to what I have on my chart. So 10, 15.75. And I'm going to uncheck plot because I already have the indicator on the chart. I don't need NinjaTrader trying to run 2 sets of indicators overlapping on top of each other. But I do need to have the settings in the strategy perfectly matched with the settings on my chart. We're going to have a mismatch. And then coming down here, super huge. I can't tell you how many times I get emails. My automation isn't working. They have this chart where they've attached the automation on one account number, and down here it's on like Sim or some other account. Both accounts need to be exactly the same. So what's happening with your automation can be seen on the account in which it's attached. So that's huge. So set both of those accounts to the same. Open up your chart trader so you can see it, set it, and then you can get rid of this if you don't want to see the chart trader. If you want to have more, just chart and less buttons and stuff from the trade management side of things. Okay, If you don't want a bunch of writing up on your charts, you can get rid of the label. I suggest you leave it on when trading automated. There's one other setting that's important. Make sure right here, bars required to trade is set to like 5 to 10, never more. Should be defaulted to 10, so that's good. Some of this stuff is just, hey, make sure to exit my trade at session close if for some weird reason you're still in a trade. And everything else I'm just leaving as default. Now, what I have to do is I have to enable the strategy, and then I have to hit OK. Now it'll do its thing, it'll calculate, and then it'll put buttons up here, and it will turn on the strategy. And I am in the time window, so it theoretically, could fire off a trade at any next signal. So it's doing its calculating. The trade speed is very slow right now because we're getting closer to the holiday period and the participation's going down. So now it's on. It's in long and short mode. If it triggers you into a trade, do not mess with your trade on Chart Trader. You'll disengage the automated. What you have to do, you can move your stop and targets manually. That won't mess up the automation. Or if you're just done with the trade, that's why we give you a flatten button. Hitting the flatten button, then go turn off your strategy. We have long only mode, short only mode. We do have, or we're adding the ability in the strategy. There'll be an update here shortly. So let's say I'm in long mode only. Out of the open, I'm like, I just want to be a buyer today. The market opens, you get a long signal. You're in the market, it's kind of grinding higher. And then let's say you get a short signal. We're going to have the option where on the short signal, it'll flatten your long trade. Normally, it'll just leave your long trade on until you go do something like flatten or until it hits your stop. In this case, in the initial stop, you've already had enough movement in price. The stop would be to break even plus, and it's just sitting there, waiting to get tagged. Or the thing runs off and hits your out far away target. So we're going to add that to the strategy here this week, the week of December 8th through 12th, 13th of the month. So we're going to add that in there. So anyhow, right now it's just set long mode. It gets you in a long trade. If there's a short signal, it doesn't take you out of the trade. We're going to add that option. So when you're all done trading, make sure you hit the off button. Then I never leave strategies attached to my chart. I don't. When I'm done trading for the day, I get rid of the strategy off my chart. I completely take it off. What I suggest in NT8, don't make a template for your settings. Just set your typical settings you use every day as default. We've noticed in the last build update, 8.1.6.0, the templates for strategies are buggy. So don't use them right now. And they know about it and they need to fix that. So I just remove my strategy every day after I'm done trading. I don't want to leave any scenario where anything automated could happen when I'm not paying attention. I've lost accounts over that in the past. Don't want to ever see that happen again. So there you are. There's a starting point of specific settings to get started. This will lead you into the next round of training where I start getting into a wide range of additional candle type use and how to properly optimize what type of Renko you're using. I'm going to cover the several different types of Renkos. And then how you can optimize the indicators to your instrument Renko settings. It's actually not that hard to do. Just have to know a few techniques. Okay, there you have it. If you have any questions at any time, info@proptradingindicators.com.